Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us on our webinar this afternoon, all about traveling in the USA and Canada by train. My name is Sarah Turner. I work in marketing here at Railbookers, and I'm very, very happy that so many people decided to give a chunk of their January afternoon up to hear me wax lyrical about trains. So it's a great pleasure. You can see our website at the bottom of the screen there and our phone number as well. So please do just drop that down. Give us a ring. We'll be open as soon. Well, we are open now. We'll open as soon as the webinar finishes. So any inquiries, questions, anything like that, please do just let us know. To the side of your screen as well, there should be a little panel, and through that you can ask questions, so feel free to ask me anything at all, and I will answer kind of if there's a couple at the end of the presentation that lots of people seem to have, then I'll get around to answering a few. We get loads of questions, but somebody will definitely be in touch after the presentation is finished to answer whatever your specific question is. Now, before we have a look at some itineraries and a little bit about what it's like to travel by rail on Amtrak and on Via Rail as well, we'd like to just take the opportunity to tell you what hopefully you already know, which is why to book with Railbookers. And first and foremost, we really are the rail experts. We've got such a fantastic team here in our London office. We've got fantastic teams over in Southern California and in Boston as well. And we really are what we call self-confessed train geeks. We have extensive knowledge of all of the best routes, timings, rail systems, all over the world, and we really love to share that expertise with you. Help you plan your perfect holiday by rail. Well, what our team of train geeks do is use our insider access. So these are direct partnerships that we've got with the rail companies and with hotels as well, all across the world, Europe, North America, far, far beyond that. This means we've got access to special rates and availability not available to the public. And that gives you flexibility. So it gives you the flexibility that you can book your holiday with us, even if you can't book the tickets online or you can't book them yourselves yet. We're booking all the way through to the end of sort of next year now. And it also gives you flexibility in that everything we do is completely tailor-made. So we've got the expertise to let you know, great combinations of cities or the most scenic routes to get wherever you like. You're not kind of limited to what you see on our website or in our brochures or on these webinars. You can tailor make it however you want. And it's all about making it hassle-free. We know it's complicated with so many different routes, trains, languages, different accommodations on board. Booking a holiday by rail can be pretty confusing, but that's where we step in. All these reasons are why we're so proud to have won so many awards in our industry as well. You can see just a couple of our our favourite, maybe I shouldn't say that, rail partners on the screen there. Obviously, Amtrak and Via Rail, we're going to have a big look into today, but all over Europe, many, many more than this too. As I said, everything that we do can be a tailor-made holiday for you, whether that's just adding in a couple more nights or stopping off en route on a journey that you've seen or creating something entirely bespoke to you. Just let us know what it is you want to do and we'll do exactly that. We specialize, of course, in scenic rail journeys. So as all rail geeks do love a scenic train ride, we love talking to you about the most scenic routes. Of course, we can do luxury and private train journeys for you, maybe the Rocky Mountaineer, sticking to a Canadian theme, or of course things like the Orient Express or the luxury Trans-Siberian or whatever it is that you're looking to do, just let us know. City breaks by train are becoming increasingly popular. We're all very much looking forward to the direct Eurostar from London through to Amsterdam, which should be launching imminently. But everyone is kind of normally quite surprised at just how far you can go by rail and still get a city break. So Barcelona or Berlin, obviously all over France and Belgium, wherever you want to go on your city break by rail, just let us know. Rail and sail, if you want to do a rail holiday before a cruise, after a cruise, or we also book the amazing cruises through Alaska. They're often departing from the west coast, so those are very, very popular. we'll look at some of our favorite lakes and mountains holidays in Canada on this presentation today. Our top destinations, apart from the USA and Canada, of course, Italy and Switzerland, both travelling down to Italy by rail, spending a night in Switzerland en route, or some of the amazing, excuse me, tourist trains in Switzerland, things like the Glacier Express, the Bernina Express, up to the top of Pilatus or the Jungfraujoch. Switzerland is definitely a rail lover's dream. Spain and Portugal as well, very popular, especially for people booking this time of year. We've got a nice blue sky in London today, but it's still freezing. So around this time of year is always, certainly when I start thinking about my summer holiday. And if you're going down to one of the beach locations, or maybe you want to combine a couple of Spain and Portugal's top cities, that's really, really fun and easy to do by rail. Scandinavia is a big up-and-comer in the rail world as well. People are just realising how easy it is to get there, but also to get around Scandinavia by train. That's certainly something you can do with us, whether it's high-speed trains between the key cities, or maybe a trip around the Norwegian fjords, or one of those bucket list journeys. So this is always the page that takes a while to load, because the map I'm about to show you is so huge. There we go. So here is a map that we've created showing all of the key cities and the the routes on Amtrak and Via Rail in the USA and Canada. So I think this is brilliant, this map, because obviously it doesn't show every single station. There are more than 500 Amtrak stops in the USA, covering 46 of the 48 contiguous US states. But this has got kind of the main cities that you'd want to visit on holiday, the ones that are popular time and time again. Also shows the key scenic routes there. You can see those couple of routes coming out of Chicago, the old wagon train routes that are really popular. We're going to talk about the most scenic of those in our presentation today. Also shows how easy it is to do a trip down the East Coast, how many trains serve those routes. So it's a great point of reference. You've got Via Rail up in Canada there as well, through the Rocky Mountains, zigzagging that way. So yeah, let this serve as an inspiration for whatever your next holiday by rail in the US or Canada is going to be. Now, guys, this is really, really exciting, and this is why we wanted to do a webinar for all of you today. So you're among the first to know about our absolutely sensational flash sale. We have genuinely never done anything like this in the UK before, and neither has anybody else. And if you've looked into kind of organising a trip on Amtrak or Via Rail, you'll know what an amazing, genuinely amazing offer that this is. So it's £79 for the next 10 days to upgrade to a roomette on Amtrak or a berth on Via Rail. So that's £79 per person, but it is per holiday, not per journey. So if you're going from Canada coast to coast, you're spending 5 nights on the train, you're eating 15 meals on the train, it's £79 to upgrade to a berth, get a bed, you know, no kind of schlepping it overnight in a seat. You get all your meals included with these as well. So the next 10 days, only £79 or £129 for a cabin to upgrade on the trains in North America. And yeah, as I said, it's very, very exciting. We've got phones ringing off the hook here in London, and we're loving it. It's absolutely fantastic that we can offer this to you in partnerships with the rail companies themselves. £129 saving on upgrades to prestige class as well. We'll have a look at prestige class on Via Rail in this presentation. It's very, very swanky. So great, a great excuse to to book your holiday by train. We've got a couple of our top itineraries to inspire you for what you can use this flash sale towards. And we're going to start with an absolute classic, one of our most popular holidays for people here in the UK, jazz, blues and rock and roll. This is a great combination of amazing cities, lively, vibrant, musical cities, and a fantastic train journey on the City of New Orleans train route. 1 night, 2 days on board. A lot of people like to add Nashville to this route too, Nashville, Tennessee, for the country music to make it jazz, blues, country and rock and roll. Nashville doesn't actually have a train station, but we can organise car hire for you in Memphis for a couple of days, get you out to Nashville. Or of course there's transfers or or coaches that do that route too that we can certainly organise. So definitely don't discount Nashville if you'd like to see kind of Blackpool goes country music, as I describe it, in the most wonderful way possible. For the sake of this journey, we'll start you off in Chicago. It doesn't have to be a flight from London, whatever your local airport is, that's absolutely fine, of course. You can book all of the flights with us. We'll do the whole lot for you. Starting off in Chicago, we'll put the hop on, hop off tour in there for you, certainly, so that you can explore all of the key sites. There's a great picture of the river there. When I was there in July, we did a great Chicago architecture river cruise that I can definitely recommend for you. It's one of the best places in the whole country for museums, Chicago, and further than that, one of the best places for sport, one of the best places for music, one of the best places for comedy, definitely one of the best places for food. We were there for 3 days and I think we only ate pizza and roast beef sandwiches. So maybe that's a waste, some people would say, but it is so good. I can definitely recommend that. It's one overnight on the train between Chicago and Memphis. So that £79 is going to get you a roomette, all of your meals included, obviously a bit of privacy, and a bed for the night. It's really, really an adventure to sleep on board the train. I absolutely loved it. Memphis is one of the best cities for music lovers in the whole world, of course. If you're a fan of the likes of B.B. King, Johnny Cash, Elvis Presley, Memphis is definitely going to be for you. We include a tour out to Graceland and a city tour as well. So you'll see the amazing sights and neon lights of Beale Street as on that picture there, but also you'll get to visit Elvis's home. It seems to always be an Elvis anniversary of some kind, so there's sure to be a lot of celebration when you're there in Graceland, and it's great. We're happy to obviously include that in the holiday for you. From there, it's a day of travel, but no overnight, but you'll still be in that amazing roomette for privacy and for your meals, down to New Orleans. So you'll ride on the City of New Orleans train, made famous in the Willie Nelson song. That's very, very popular. The train going over the Mississippi River there. You really do go kind of through blues country, through the heart of Mississippi. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful journey. It was the first Amtrak journey I ever took, long before I even knew who Railbookers were, if I'm allowed to say that. End of the journey brings you out in New Orleans, that absolute melting pot of French, African, American culture, famous obviously for Mardi Gras, but it's always a celebration in New Orleans. We'll include a couple of things for you. A sightseeing tour, so you're not going to miss any of the main attractions in the city. A river cruise on one of those very famous paddle steamers that you'll definitely have seen. That's a really great experience. And my personal favorite, an absolute must-do in New Orleans, a brunch at the Court of Two Sisters restaurant. So it's a jazz brunch, so great music, all you can eat, great food, great atmosphere. We get such great feedback as well from all of our customers who do this, so it's definitely something to look forward to on this itinerary. Taking you a bit further now on a coast-to-coast journey across the USA. This is our most popular journey for people who want to go from coast to coast. I did a coast to coast journey last year by Amtrak. It wasn't this one, but don't worry, I'll get to my holiday bragging later in the presentation. I completely understand why this one is the most popular. If you look at those cities there and those destinations, this is a highlights tour of the USA, and it's so easy to do by Amtrak. You're going to have 3 nights on board, and all the train can be in a roomette for you, just £79 to get your meals included. Fly from London to New York, go New York, Washington DC, Chicago, go on the Southwest Chief train through 8 states in total, stopping off at Williams, going to the Grand Canyon, LA, and then traveling up the coast on the amazing Coast Starlight to San Francisco. NYC is obviously the first city in the US most people visit, and it is definitely somewhere you can return to time after time after time. We'll organise a hop-on, hop-off bus for you, so you don't have to to hail taxis or try and negotiate with the subway or anything like that. You'll be able to sit on the top deck, relax, listen to the commentary of what you're passing, and go from place of interest to place of interest. We also include tickets to either the top of the Rock or the top of the Empire State Building, whichever you'd rather. I've done both personally. I know the Empire State Building is kind of the big iconic one, but from the top of the Rockefeller Center, you can see the Empire State Building. So that's always my recommendation, but completely up to you. From NYC, it's a little over 4 hours to London, maybe, to Washington DC. Really quick journey, nice trains. You can visit obviously the Smithsonian museums. We do a monuments by moonlight inclusion for you, so you get that tour included. You'll see the Lincoln Memorial and the White House and the monument and everything like that, all illuminated in the evening. It's definitely a fantastic way to see these sites after exploring in the day all day. One overnight then on a Viewliner train from Washington DC to Chicago. Again, you get that hop-on, hop-off bus. It's going to take you all over the city. Chicago is one of the biggest cities in the USA. Take you to Navy Pier, to Cloudgate. They call it the Bean, the big sort of silver reflective landmark, Millennium Park. There's so much to see and do in Chicago. I fell in love with it. It was the first time I'd been over to Chicago. I went back in July, as I said, and it is just brilliant. There's so much to see and do. It's like New York, but smaller and more easy to navigate. And yeah, loved it. So that's a great inclusion. From there, it's an overnight on the train on the amazing Southwest Chief to the Grand Canyon. Obviously, on a lot of people's bucket lists, the Grand Canyon, millions of years of geological history kind of to see there in the Red Rock. It is certainly one of the 7 wonders of the natural world. Measures 18 miles by 277 miles. I did write that down. I didn't memorize that one, but it is absolutely, you know, a fantastic place to visit. We'll include a tour of the South Rim so that you get, you know, a guided experience, and you can see all of the best bits of that area. It's absolutely wonderful. You'll also get a trip on the Grand Canyon Railway, which is absolutely great. It is a big kind of tourist attraction, an old train with a, you know, sort of shoot 'em ups and things being acted out on the side of the tracks, and yeah, definitely an experience in itself. So we'll definitely include that for you. Before you reboard the Southwest Chief, which is one of the most scenic train routes in the USA, one of those old wagon train routes leaving Chicago and going west. It travels through all sorts of different scenery. We go through lots of fields of wheat. That always makes me think of Theresa May now, but she'd love it. She'd love it on the Southwest Chief. Obviously, ranches, missions, pueblos. Think about the kind of area that you'll be traveling through the west, mountains and desert. Just scenery that's just not visible from the highway. Genuinely, I mean, a lot of the places on the route, the kind of the valley you're traveling through is, you know, not even a meter wider than the tracks you're traveling on. You can just look up and see the most amazing scenery. It's definitely one of the most wonderful routes you can do in the USA. Brings you out in Los Angeles, which is a great place. We'll include a hop on, hop off there, so you can see the stars' homes and get from place to place. Absolutely huge Los Angeles, and not easy to walk at all. So, you know, I wouldn't want to be driving in all that traffic. Hop on, hop off. It's absolutely perfect, making sure that you don't miss anything at all. Definitely one of the highlights on this itinerary is traveling up the coast. So from LA to San Francisco, you'll board the Coast Starlight train. This bit is actually the most scenic part of all. You're going to go along huge long stretches of the Pacific coastline. I did this on my USA trip last year, and you can see surfers and palm trees. It's very Beach Boys. It is absolutely amazing. The ocean kind of, obviously that amazing blue color. You look to the other side and you've got the big green hills. Definitely not something to miss, with a beer in the observation car as you make the journey. It's about eight hours, I think. So you get your roomette for your £79 upgrade. So you've got privacy for the 8 hours and your meals included as well. the train pulls into Emeryville. There's a connection there, all organised through to San Francisco, really, really short, only about 15-20 minutes. San Francisco, obviously one of the most popular cities to visit in the USA. The Golden Gate Bridge there, you know, it's just such a great snap of the city, and there's so much to see and do. We'll include hop on, hop off again. They really are the best way to get around when you're new to a city. They'll take you to all of the places of interest. All you have to do is quite literally hop on and hop off. You'll be able to explore the best of what San Francisco has to offer. So I mentioned that I had done a coast-to-coast journey myself on Amtrak last year. Everyone's like, yes, you've mentioned that many, many times. And it's because it was absolutely amazing. And this is the route that I took. Now, it's not maybe as much of kind of a, you know, you don't see the Grand Canyon, or you could easily add Washington, D.C. onto this, though. That would be very, very easy indeed. I actually did it in reverse. I ended in Boston rather than New York. So the train from Chicago splits in upstate New York. Half of it goes to New York City and half of it goes on to Boston, Mass. So it's completely up to you which of those you'd rather do. But you'll travel from New York to Chicago, and then this is why I picked this coast to coast. You'll board the California Zephyr, which is not just one of the most famous and scenic trains in North America. It's one of the most famous and scenic trains in the whole world. Absolutely amazing scenery to be had. A stop in Denver along the way. You'll end up in San Francisco before flying back to London, or maybe taking the Coast Starlight like we just saw down the coast to LA and doing it that way. New York, we've seen, we'll definitely still include that hop on, hop off bus tour for you. Even if you've been to New York before, I mean, you can't really, I'm sure you can never go for too long. It's one of my favorite cities in the whole world. Loads and loads to see and do. If there's anything you know you want to see, a Broadway show perhaps, let us know. Let us sort all the tickets for you so that you're booking it all at the same time. You know everything's included. It's one overnight on the train to Chicago, where we'll include the city pass for you. So that means you're going to see the Shed Aquarium, the Sky Deck at the top of the Sears Tower, Field Museum, the Planetarium, or the Art Institute. Really kind of a highlights ticking list of Chicago. So you'll know that you'll have seen everything that not everything, not by a long shot, but the sort of main sites that you'd want to see on a first visit. And you get that way cheaper, and you won't have to queue, which is always nice. From Chicago to Denver, you'll do the first half of the California Zephyr train. It's not the most scenic half of that train, but it's still really nice and scenic. You'll pass more cornfields than you could possibly have thought there could be, and it won't even be a snapshot of the amount of corn that's in that area of the Midwest in the USA. It was phenomenal. All the corn syrup probably. You'll end the journey in Denver, and Denver, Colorado is an absolute gem of a city. It genuinely is a university city, and not so big, so really lively, really fun, great atmosphere, you know, brimming with fun, you know, fun things to do, with amazing restaurants, a really big foodie scene, you know, just a great place to visit, somewhere unlike anywhere I'd ever been. It's on the foothills of the Colorado Rocky Mountains, just like in the John Denver song. So we will include a trip out to Rocky Mountain National Park. That's what that's a shot of there. It is just so serene, so beautiful, and so close to the kind of hustle and bustle and the vibrancy of Denver. Just you know, kind of so near, so possible to do this in one day. Denver's also really near Red Rocks Amphitheatre. If you are a bit of a music buff, this is one of the most famous amphitheatres in the world, kind of carved out of natural red rock. Huge sort of towering rocks above you. We saw Paul Simon there when we were in Denver, and it was the opportunity of a lifetime, genuinely. So then you will take the California Zephyr. You'll finish off that journey. You can see from the snapshot there, this is not like any other train. It is absolutely wonderful, the scenery. If anything, maybe you could do the journey in reverse, so go from San Francisco to Denver, because then you know, as you go along, you get this amazing kind of scenery you see there. You go through the Sierra Nevadas, Postona Lake, along the banks of the Colorado River, through so many valleys and kind of canyons, and the Rocky Mountains as they kind of emerge out of that landscape as you travel along. This is perhaps the most scenic train journey I've ever done. I absolutely loved it. We got up at sunrise and drank our coffee whilst watching the sun come up over the Rocky Mountains. It was magical. It genuinely was. And you'll end up in San Francisco again. I just can't get enough of pictures of the Golden Gate Bridge. It's so iconic. I was really excited to see it for the first time when I went in July. But there's loads to see and do in San Francisco. Obviously, make sure you pay the sea lions at Fisherman's Wharf a visit. We'll include a trip out to wine country as well, Napa and Sonoma. So that's definitely worth doing, and we'll add a new dimension as well. Show you some more of the USA's amazing landscapes. Bit north of that now, the Canadian Rockies. So I'm sure that most of you have probably heard of the Rocky Mountaineer, and certainly we can very much organise holidays on that magnificent private tourist train for you if you like. But this journey follows a lot of the same route and is actually done by Via Rail, so by the Canada's national rail operator. You'll fly into Vancouver, take a ferry out to Vancouver Island, then wind through the Rocky Mountains to Jasper, Banff National Parks, fly home from Calgary. So starting off in Vancouver, we'll include the hop-on, hop-off so you can explore, and admission to the Vancouver Lookout, which is a 360-degree observation deck that looks out over the whole city. So you'll be able to experience views like that one there. It is really, really wonderful. You see the ocean and all the green spaces, but also the skyscrapers and things like that. From there, you will ride the rails to Jasper. It's one overnight on the train, £79 to upgrade to a berth, gets you all your meals and obviously your bed as well. From Jasper and in Banff as well, we're going to make sure that you see absolutely everything that you have come all that way to see. It's a really nice way to do it, I think. You know, you get the independent travel, which means complete flexibility, stay as long as you want in each place, travel whenever you like, total freedom, total privacy. But by organising these tours for you, we also make sure that you see everything that you want to see the highlights, get the experience, get the knowledge of a guide. So it's the perfect way to do it, I think. On your Rocky Mountain sightseeing tour from Jasper, you will visit Moline Lake and Canyon, Medicine Lake, the Athabasca Lookout as well. So all of the kind of the peak spots in the Rocky Mountains, that's a great pun, things like that that you won't want to miss. We'll transfer you to Banff. You'll do an Icefields Parkway drive, voted one of the most scenic drives in the world by Condé Nast Traveller. So that is definitely a must do for lots of people traveling in this part of the world. One of the most beautiful journeys on the planet. Indeed, Banff itself is absolutely beautiful. Lots of our staff have done this journey by Via Rail, and a lucky few by Rocky Mountaineer too. I'm heading out in September to do it, and I just can't wait. It certainly looks, you know, like nowhere else in the world. Lake Louise is a must-do for a lot of people. That amazing kind of pristine blue lake, the famous chateau, there on the banks of the lake as well. So we'll organise a tour, so you definitely won't miss that. Loads of photo ops on the way there on the tour as well. You'll definitely don't forget your camera for a trip through the Canadian Rockies, and you'll end the journey in Calgary. Also known as Cowtown because of its famous stampede that happens in July. So if you wanted to do this journey in July, that would be a great time to do it. It's not the cheapest time to do it for the hotels in Calgary, but certainly you'll get that amazing experience. Calgary is really famous for its mix of the old sort of Western Wild West culture, and combining that with all the skyscrapers, and it's a really rich city because of all of its oil money. So it's a really interesting blend of those things, somewhere I definitely love to see. And we had a look at the USA coast to coast. This is Canada coast to coast, ultimate Canada coast to coast. So definitely a once in a lifetime trip this. Fly from London to Halifax and then look at those amazing cities. Quebec, Montreal, Toronto, you'll see Niagara Falls. Take the Canadian train, very, very famous, wonderful experience, all the way through to Jasper. Shuttle to Banff, and then one more night on the train before flying home from Vancouver. So for the £79 or £129 to upgrade to sleeping accommodations, you'll get all of your meals every time you're on the train overnight. So what's that? 15 meals and 5 nights. Spent very, very comfortably on board the train for £120 or £79 per person. So to me, that's that's a no-brainer. That's certainly why I'm booking my holiday to Canada this year. And obviously we'll have a little look through the places that you'll visit. Halifax is a great starting point as a capital of Nova Scotia on the east coast, definitely dominated by its hilltop citadel. It's got a great star-shaped fort and lots of waterfront warehouses. There's lots and lots going on. So it's a really, really wonderful place to start. Travel on to the French-speaking regions of Canada. So Quebec on the St. Lawrence River, get a sightseeing tour there to visit the Colonial Core or Vieux Quebec, just like they say in France. The Place Royale and the Citadel, of course, you'll see. We'll do a sightseeing tour of Montreal for you as well, named after Mount Royal, which you'll see when you get there, the triple-peaked hill at the heart of the city. The tour will take you all along the cobblestone, sort of very French colonial feeling streets, to the Gothic Revival Notre Dame Cathedral as well. So loads of history and culture in Montreal. It's just a really, really short train journey from Montreal to Toronto, where you'll have a hop-on, hop-off tour, and you'll also a day trip out to Niagara Falls. So the 3 phenomenal waterfalls on the border of Canada and the USA, definitely a must-see. Obviously, we'll organise anything that you want to do while you're at Niagara Falls, the boat trips and the passes and everything like that. Obviously, one of the 7 wonders of the natural world. Amazing. That's Horseshoe Falls there. So definitely an experience that you have to do while you're in Toronto. From Toronto to Vancouver, you'll stop in Jasper en route, but that's the Canadian. That's the name of the train, operated by Via Rail. Very, very famous. Runs 4,466 kilometres. So absolutely huge, Canada. Who knew? That's between Toronto and Vancouver, so you'll cover its full length. And you'll go through just about every single kind of scenery that there is to see along the way. So prairies, you go through the sort of rugged lake country, lots of picturesque towns, and of course Rocky Mountains. You'll spend a couple of nights in Jasper. You do all those amazing tours that we spoke about on the Canadian Rockies itinerary, so you won't miss anything. Definitely make sure you take your camera. Couldn't miss the chance to go to Banff as well. There's no railway station there, so you do a transfer out and back, and make sure that you can do the Icefields Parkway and things like that. So you get the full Rocky Mountain experience. And then you end your trip in Vancouver before flying back to the UK. And not one with Roomette or anything like that, but so not a flash sale one, but still definitely worth talking about is Railbookers American Heritage itinerary. Now, we love this one. It's a bit of an Amtrak gateway holiday, in that it's just a couple of really short journeys. Lots of different trains run the route, so you get a couple of choices of time. You can upgrade to business class. They're very, very comfortable. They're very, very quick. Personally, I wouldn't want to be driving in sort of the heart of New York City or trying to find parking in Washington, D.C. or anything like that. And the trains are amazing. They go from city centre to city centre. In New York, the train station is just a couple of blocks from Times Square. It's in the heart of Midtown. In Washington, D.C., it's at the foot of Capitol Hill. So definitely the most convenient and the quickest and the best way of getting from place to place. You'll start off in Boston, one of my favorite cities in the USA. Lots and lots of history there, as well as some great sports, some great pubs as well. So that's definitely a wonderful one to to start off in. We'll include the city pass, so you get to do all of the tourist attractions as well as the hop on, hop off. We'll include all of that as well in New York City. We'll also include dinner at the View restaurant, which gives you views not dissimilar to this one here. The most amazing place to have a really, really nice dinner whilst looking out over the rooftops of the city. Traveling by rail, as I said, city centre to city centre. Philadelphia is your next stop. We will include a city pass there as well. You can visit Liberty Hall and things like that. Before ending with one more little rail link to Washington DC, and having sort of the tours that we've looked at as well there. So you're definitely going to milk the most out of every city on this itinerary. And if you wanted to extend your stay in every single one or two, or add some places in, you could add Niagara Falls in. That'd be a really nice one to do from New York. You absolutely can do that. So those are my top picks of the itineraries, but obviously we can tailor make absolutely any holiday going to any of the 500 plus Amtrak stations, any of the stations on the BRL network as well. As our flash sale is all to do with the accommodations on board, just going to give you a little sneak peek into what it's like on the train very quickly. So here's coach accommodation. So this is standard class. It's not like standard class on an airline or even like standard class on a European train. It is huge, big plush seats that recline with big, nice windows. You get access to the observation car with its domed windows and its bar and a little cafe as well in any class that you travel in on Amtrak. So that's definitely the social hub of the train. Just £79 though for the whole entire trip will get you a roomette. So 2 seats facing each other like you see in this picture by day. Big picture postcard window there as well to watch all of the scenery going by. In the evenings, this will be turned down by your personal steward into bunk beds. So roomettes aren't huge. You're not going to have space to, swing any cats or practice any ballroom dancing, but there is plenty of room for your train journey, and a comfortable bed, all your linen included, of course, all your food included on that trip as well in the dining car. And the food is great. So here are some pictures that I took, not the one on the top, but the others. That's our view out the window of the dining car window as we made our way on the first night through Nevada while we ate our steak and drank our red wine. You can see the picture there. There's a cocktail menu for the observation car, which is definitely brilliant. Afterwards, and he asked to see my ID, which kind of made my holiday. But it's all really nice. It's all freshly cooked on board. No microwaves or anything like that. On Via Rail, you can spend time in either a berth or a cabin as part of our flash sales. So a berth is not a private room like a roomette on Amtrak is. It's got curtains that sort of button up. Perks are, though, that it is the biggest bed you'll get on Via Rail unless you upgrade to prestige class. Very, very quiet compartments. There's only 6 in a carriage and they're all cordoned off. So very, very quiet, very nice and safe. But we would recommend, and 99% of our customers upgrade to a cabin or a bedroom, the same thing. So there you'll get 2 chairs like you see there, and a little bathroom as well, and some views, amazing views like that out of the window. Just £129 for your whole journey, and this is kind of your own private room. So definitely would be my choice. In a berth or a cabin, though, you'll get access to Via Rail's observation car, the Pacific Dome car. So have a look at that amazing scenery. This is where you want to be for the journey. It looks absolutely fantastic. Again, definitely the social hub of the train. If you upgrade to prestige class, you'll save £129 with our flash sale. The left-hand side picture is the bullet lounge that's just available to customers traveling in prestige class. The right hand side picture is the nice double beds that you will be sleeping in opposite that amazing picture window. It folds down to a L-shaped sofa. In the daytime you get your own TV and a little entertainment unit and a very nice bathroom with luxury toiletries and things. You also get all your alcohol included, as well as all your soft drinks, your teas, your coffees, and all of your meals as well. And dining on Via Rail is definitely a treat. So lots of our colleagues have done it here at at our BHQ. So they always say it's absolutely wonderful, freshly prepared, local produce. Always a couple of different choices that always change on the menus as well, sort of taking into account what they've picked up along the way. So an amazing experience. Just remind you of our flash sale details there. I know everybody's thinking, wow, you are you having a flash sale? You should have said. So there's the details. 17th, so that's today. We kick things off at 9 a.m. With a very busy call centre team, and it'll be running all the way through to the 26th of January. And I mean, it is a sensational offer. So if you're thinking about doing a trip by Amtrak or Via Rail this year or next year, then now really is the time to book it. As I said, we've never done anything like this before. We've seen most of these different types of holiday on our webinar today, but whatever it is that you want to do by rail, please obviously do let us know. If you don't have one of our brochures, you can certainly order them here. You can order them through our website, railbookers.co.uk/request-brochure, or just give us a ring and one of our lovely team will get one in the post for you. Here's how it all starts. Here's our website homepage, railbookers.co.uk. You can search by destination. So obviously have a look at, we've got hundreds more itineraries in the USA and Canada to explore. I'm sure that nobody wanted me to sit here until tea time kind of talking through them all, but there's loads to explore. So please do have a click about when you're ready to book, or you'd like a quote, or you'd like to hear some more information. Two things you can do. You can give us a call, 0203 780 2382, or call or visit your local travel agent. And travel agents all over the country know all about this flash sale. They're as pumped as we are to kick things off for you. So please do go in, chat to your local travel agent, and they'll be able to book your favourite Railbookers holiday for you. And as if the deal wasn't sweet enough already, absolutely everybody gets £25 per person off their next holiday. So please do mention that you were on this webinar to your rail expert, and they'll get that all sorted for you as well. Lots of our holidays in Canada, I should say as well, have £150 off per couple at the moment, and our US holidays have up to £200 off per couple at the moment too. We decided that we weren't going to take those early bird discount offers down for the duration of this flash sale. So go, get them while they're hot. We've had loads of questions, which is always lovely. Great to try and answer as many of your guys' questions as I can. We don't have oodles of time, but I'll try and buzz through quite a few. Got a lot of people sort of asking about different destinations and things like that, and what you can do and what it'll be for their particular holiday. But actually, we've got lots of people mentioning Seattle and how you can get to Seattle and what you can combine that with. So that's a really good question. Obviously, we didn't feature Seattle on this webinar, so maybe that's my fault. Maybe I should have had a couple of Seattle itineraries in there. But you can do one or two. Seattle's a great one actually to inquire about. It's on 3 great routes. I'll buzz them really quickly. So it is the end of the Coast Starlight route. Remember, we looked at the route from LA up to San Francisco along the coast. That continues to Portland, Oregon, and then it continues on to Seattle, Washington. So that's an absolutely fantastic route to do. It's also the western terminus station of the Empire Builder, which is one of the high-speed routes that we didn't have a look at on the presentation, but it goes through Glacier National Park, so that's very, very popular from Chicago. You can also definitely go up to Vancouver that way, so it's a great way to combine the US and Canada in one trip. And we've got a great question as well. This is a good one, asking some people asking when they can book and when they can book until. So the flash sales, as I said, running for 10 days. You can book all the way through this year, all the way through next year as well with the flash sale. So the early bird definitely gets the worm. You're going to get the best hotel availability, the best prices for the trains and things like that. So do give us a call and let us put together your perfect holiday by train. I think that's about all we have time for. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody, for taking the time out of your busy days. We're really pleased that you could join us. So hopefully we'll see you on the next webinar. We'll speak to you very soon.